just finished filming a reading, and I decided to take this time to share with you my labor and delivery story because my son is almost a year old and I want him to be able to look back and watch or hear and see the story of how he entered this world because, honey. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. Listen. Okay. So the story starts where I go for my final ANC, which is my antenatal checkup. I can't speak. So I went in. I was fortunate enough to find the perfect obstetrician, OBGYN, to oversee my pregnancy. I was considered extremely high risk because your girl is anemic. Firstly, that's just something I've had since I was a baby, and type 2 diabetes made an entrance. So I went on keto 2016. I lost a bunch of weight by 2017 and 18, and then I kind of dropped my healthy eating habits, and type 2 diabetes made an entrance. So when I went on keto, I was pre-diabetic. So by the time I was pregnant, I had anemia and type 2 diabetes. So I'm considered extremely high risk, and if you are extremely high risk, it's going to be very difficult for you to find an OBGYN that is going to listen to you and let you direct the course of your pregnancy. So I struggled to find the perfect OBGYN, but I eventually did. I found a post, I think on Facebook, that there's this new OBGYN at a hospital, private hospital near me, and he was relatively new, so I decided to give him a chance. We're going to call him Dr. R because that's what I call him. Listen, we clicked from the onset, okay? I knew that, okay, this is my doctor. So I called his office first, and they told me I was, I think I was probably 4 weeks pregnant when I called. They told me to come in when I was 8 weeks. I ended up going in at 10 weeks. So that was the first time I saw him. We had a very beautiful encounter. And then I had to explain to him that, listen, I am anemic, I am diabetic, but I want to have as natural a pregnancy as possible. And I don't want you to be the one who's in charge because you're not the one who's pregnant. So please let me have my own natural pregnancy, and then if it backfires, you can take over, you can take charge. Okay, so he agreed to do a trial period, like let's see how things go for the first month, and if within the first month your blood sugar levels are good, he told me to maintain them at a 6. If they stay there, then you and I are like, we're good to go. Okay, listen. So I went in for my final ANC. He was happy. My blood sugar levels had remained at a 6 throughout. I think I went to a 7 once when I indulged in a slice of pizza once. I ate extremely healthy during my pregnancy. I did not have junk food. I did not have anything with sugar. Everything I was taking was sugar-free. Listen, I practiced self-control. I limited my carbs, I increased my protein, and I was eating according to what my son was forming at the time. So when he was forming the eyes and stuff, I was eating a lot of carrots, just a lot of fruits and vegetables with vitamin A, with carotene. When he was forming his bones and cartilage, I was heavy on the yogurt and the milk. Listen, when he was forming muscle, I was heavy on the protein shakes. So I ate according to what he was forming at the time. I think I filmed a video after I left the doctor's office.
Guys, I'm so excited. I don't know if you guys can see me. The lighting looks a tad bit weird, but I just came back from my last ANC, antenatal care appointment with my obstetrician. Everything is looking good. I was panicking because my partner was like, pack a bag just in case. So I packed a bag because he was like, just in case they admit you. But I was thinking, I don't have any problems. I don't have blood pressure. I don't have any like drama. I need the aircon.
So this is the discussion we had during my final ANC. We concluded that I've had a healthy pregnancy, so we're going to go for a natural. We're going to try for a natural delivery, because usually with diabetic babies or babies from diabetic moms, they're on the large end. They tend to be bigger. So he was already weighing a bit big on ultrasound, but that measurement is not really accurate. Now I know it's because he had long bones. But he was relatively tiny when he came out. He was like, what, 2.7 kilos. So, you know, we decided that we're going to go for a natural birth. But he did not even want to take chances, y'all, with my labor and delivery. He said, your due date is on this day. And if on that day you do not go into labor in the morning of that day, at night on that day, I want you to come into the hospital, check yourself in, and I am going to induce you and we're going to get this baby out. Okay, I go home and y'all, I start doing a lot of research about induction this, induction that, and I'm just like, oh heavenly. I watched so many videos on YouTube that scared the crap out of me. I was like, no. Like, induction is just you opting to die. I do not want to be induced. Absolutely not. So I had to go on Operation Get Baby here before induction date. My son had to come on his due date, otherwise I was screwed. Y'all. So I started researching. I was on Baby Center a lot, babycenter.com. I joined the community board thingy there, and I was very active throughout my pregnancy on Baby Center, and a lot of women were talking about inducing labor with pineapple. I was like, that's interesting. So because I'm that girl, listen, anecdotal evidence is amazing, but because I studied science at university level, I need to have some sort of tangible scientific evidence. So I got to researching and I found a lab experiment done on rats, on rat uteruses, and basically there's a chemical, bromelain, and it's an enzyme, and that enzyme helps to stimulate the uterus to start contracting, so it helps induce labor. I was like, okay, this sounds promising, because this is a lab result that was, it was a lab experiment that was conducted, and those were the results. The rat uteruses went into spontaneous labor. I was like, okay, we're gonna chop up some pineapples, okay? You know, went out with my man. I didn't cook that day. We went to Spa. I bought 2 whole pineapples.
You guys, load shedding is real. So we just headed to Spa because I couldn't cook, and oof, the sanitizer. We're going to buy the ready cooked meals that they have there.
Listen, I was waddling at Spa. I was just like, oh my goodness, the 9th month of pregnancy is it is tough. I was waddling and I could literally feel my son's head in between my pelvis. So we went to Spa. We bought 2 whole pineapples. Now I will have you know that throughout my pregnancy I was drinking red raspberry leaf tea to support my pregnancy, right? I didn't want issues, and you know, I read all the benefits of red raspberry leaf tea, especially for a person, especially for a mom like me who was high risk because I had anemia and diabetes. Like, listen, I was like, okay, I'm going to drink this tea. When I tell you I went overboard. So at first I bought the Phytoforce raspberry leaf tea, right? I think I got through 3 boxes of this. And then they ran out. And when they ran out, I went and got me the, what do you call this? The tincture, the herbal tincture. Guys, when I tell you, I went and got myself the herbal tincture. Now, what does this thing say? It says a nutritious herbal tea that is rich in vitamins. So I was like, yes, I'm sold. And then the tincture says it assists with easing labor. I just want you guys to know that. So once Phytophos ran out of stock, I went with natural products, raspberry leaves. Okay, so I was drinking this tea throughout, and because I was on Baby Center, I came across a post. A lady wrote there that she made a labor-inducing cocktail with red raspberry leaf tea. So I was like, okay, let's give this a try. I mixed this tea with the tincture. I will have you know that this is a concentrated version of this. I would mix this in a 1 liter bottle. I just mix about a tablespoon of leaves, brew them, and then I'd put this. No, not a tablespoon. What do you call that dishing spoon? Like that big spoon. I'd take a spoonful of these leaves and put, I'm even afraid to say it, I'd put 30 drops. I'd put 30 drops of this tincture. Now let's read the instructions. I think it was pregnancy brain, guys. Like I did my own thing. I did not care about instructions. But anyways, it says the dosage. Take drops 3 times daily before meals. And for adults, you take 10 drops. Children can also take this. But you take a maximum of 10 drops. Your girl went in with 30 drops, okay, of this. With this already in the tea, because I brewed the tea out of this, and then I added 30 drops to that tea. Now, my ANC was 3 days before my due date. So I started all of this 3 days before my due date. Y'all, when we came back from spa, on the day of my last checkup, bought 2 pineapples. I chopped up that pineapple and I ate half of it. I ate half of 1 pineapple. Okay, you know, I was waiting. Nothing happened. Okay, the following day, okay, my partner ate the other half of that pineapple. The following day, I was like, listen, I'm getting desperate because my due date is tomorrow and there is just no sign of labor. I was on Google a lot. I was on the internet a lot. I was on Baby Center a lot. And a lot of women were talking about the signs of labor. You start seeing your plug shedding, you know, the belly drops low. Like there were all these signs of labor that I was not getting. And they were getting these signs like 3 days before going into active labor. So I was like, girl, you need to do something about this, because that induction, all those videos I saw of people basically dying, I'm not going through that. I want to go through natural labor. The videos I watched, it was just a lot more bearable to go through natural labor than it was going through an induction. So I was just like, listen. And I read a lot of reviews and people posting their experiences. I was like, listen, I don't want no injection. I don't want no induction. I don't want no drugs near me. Okay, I'm gonna do this. The only drug I want is an epidural. And that is where my doctor let me down. But at the same time, I can't really blame him. But I asked him, I told him, listen, I am bad with pain. I am bad with pain. So I need an epidural. If I'm going to push a human being out of my vagina, I need an epidural. And he was like, oh yeah, we'll get an epidural. So during my final ANC, we had to fill out the paperwork, you know, to get me admitted into hospital, and my medical team who's going to be there and whatnot. I did not see the anesthesiologist. And I asked him, I'm like, dude, where's this guy who's going to give me a pain shot in my spine to numb everything so I don't feel anything? He's like, no, don't worry. We're going, you know, they're fully booked right now, but When the time comes, they're going to come. Like, don't worry, I've got you, you know, whatever. I was like, okay. So I went home. Day 2 after my ANC, my last ANC. So this is now the day before my due date. Y'all, I was stressed. I'm like, listen, we need to get this baby out. That day, I drank 2 liters of my tea that I had made, the mixture, and I ate an entire pineapple, like the whole thing. It was a big pineapple at the time. I ate that whole thing. I was like, we are getting baby out, okay? I need to go into labor tonight. Had that, and then yeah, got ready for bed. Now, I had packed everything baby related, but I hadn't packed some of my things. Y'all know I'm psychic by now. A voice comes and says, go pack your things. So I'm like, nah. Because sometimes I do that. I'll be like, no, like I'm ignoring you today. I'm tired. So I get into bed, go through a few labor videos, because, you know, I'm trying to sift out what my experience will be like by watching other people's experiences. So, you know, I'm watching those videos and then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm tired, putting the phone down on my pedestal. As I was getting ready to sleep, as I put my head on the pillow, voice says, I said, get up and go pack your bag. Oh my goodness, I jumped, because it was stern like that. I jumped out of bed and I quickly went to the baby's room and I started packing because everything was there. And we bought everything late. We bought, I think the day before my final checkup, that's when we went and like bought everything that I need and everything that baby needs. You know, we did the shopping late. So I got up quickly and I packed my bag and I put everything so that all I need to do when I come out of the shower is just walk into my slippers, put on my nightie, put on my gown, take bags and go. When I tell you that I am so glad I listened to the voice, because that night, so we went to bed, we slept after I packed everything. I woke up at 5 a.m. in the morning and I felt a bit of heat on my back. Nothing hectic, no pain, just a bit of heat, but it was unusual. I noticed it because I hadn't felt anything like that before, especially during my pregnancy. So I felt that bit of heat at the back and I was like, I wonder what this could be. Oh well, I went back to bed. When I tell you, I woke up. We woke up what, 7 a.m. in the morning. I don't know if the heat woke me up. I just know that I woke up around 7. It was going to 8. And this heat had intensified, you know. It's just like I just felt heat around my stomach area, back and front, and around my belly area, my belly button area. So I wake up my man and I say, listen, he's snoring right next to me. I'm like, listen, I feel heat. And at that point in time, I'm like, wait, you know, this is probably it. This is it. This is probably it. But I was waiting for like a period pain type feeling, because that's what I had read from all the things I Googled. There was no period pain, nothing like that, just this heat around my belly area. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this could be it. So he's like, okay, so what do you need? I'm like, maybe get us breakfast, like make breakfast, and then I'm going to go into the shower. I get up, I go into the bathroom and I pee. As I'm peeing, I feel something hot on my vagina. I feel this heat sensation. I'm like, what is going on? When I wipe, there is bright red blood. Okay, if you are sensitive and you get grossed out easily, click out. There is bright red blood. I'm like, uh-oh. So at that point in time, I'm excited. I'm like, yes. But then I'm like, ooh. They said there's going to be a plug. From what I researched on Google, there's no plug. There's just blood. What's happening? And it's bright red blood. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is good. Okay, there's no plug, but listen, there has been no bleeding throughout. So this is the first time I'm bleeding, and in the final months, on my due date, in the morning of my due date. So I took it as a good sign. I take a hot shower. Now, if you don't know, get to know, okay? Heat accelerates labor, okay? Heat accelerates labor. If you don't know that, get to know. By the time I was walking out of the shower, the gap in between the pain. So I knew there were contractions because the pain would come and go. But now what I didn't understand is why I was having such a short space in between this pain. Because from what I understand, contractions get closer as you get closer to delivery, right? I had just woken up with this heat, no pain whatsoever. So there is no way that I am close to delivery. What is happening? So I decided to start timing my contractions on my app. I had a pregnancy app, Ovia Pregnancy. I started timing my contractions, and I realized that these contractions were 2 minutes apart. 2 minutes apart, 2 minutes and 30 seconds apart. I'm like, what is happening? At this point in time, I don't even have time to go into Google because I need to get myself to the hospital now, or we need to get me to the hospital now. Listen, just to move from my bedroom to the baby room and get dressed, I would have to stop, breathe through my contraction, and my contractions are lasting about a minute. Breathe through my contraction, and then, go. That's like, I'm trying to show you guys how close together my contractions were. It's crazy, even thinking about it, because that's not what I was expecting. Because I know that they start being far apart, like 10 minutes apart and whatnot, and then they gradually get closer together. So it took me so long to just get dressed. It took me so long to walk to the kitchen just to have breakfast. Insane. It took me so long to get into the car. But eventually we did. We got into the car, drove to the hospital. Now, when I got to the hospital, I'm all chilled, my contractions are not unbearable. We get to the receptionist to check in, and she's like, you had to book yourself in for delivery. And I'm like, yes girl, I'm ready. We're just having a jolly nice chat. Next thing, because I have to breathe through my contractions, a contraction comes, and I just keep, as we're talking, in the midst of the conversation, I just bear down and I start breathing, and immediately she's like, get a porter here now. If she's doing this, this baby is going to drop out. So she gets a porter. She says, no, get a porter here now. If she's doing this, she's close to giving birth. I'm just like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Like, really close to giving birth? Come on. I just woke up in labor now. Like, now. Impossible. Y'all, the porter can't, oh my gosh. Like, if there's one thing I don't like being the center of attention if it doesn't come from me. Don't put me on the spot. I don't like that. Oh my gosh. Now she comes with this wheelchair, this porter, and I'm just like, ugh. Everybody is now gonna look at me like, ooh, look at that lady about to pop. Like, no. But I really felt like the wheelchair was unnecessary. I could have easily walked, and we took an elevator anyways, so I could have easily walked to labor and delivery, but anyways, to the maternity ward, I mean. But anyways, they wheeled me in a wheelchair. Imagine. Yeah, baby daddy went to the receptionist. There's a reception area there. He was busy with the paperwork, and I was taken to my room. And yeah, they asked me if I wanted to change into the hospital gown. I said no. Listen, they checked me in. They put the whole baby heartbeat. What is it? Fetal heartbeat monitor thing, that band that goes around your stomach. And yeah, everything's good. Baby's heartbeat is good. And then, firstly, okay, the first midwife came in to check me, or the nurse. She said, okay, I need to check you. We've told the doctor that you have checked in, so we just need to check you, and he's going to come and do his own checks later. So I'm like, okay, no issue. Y'all, when that lady put her fingers in my vagina, it was so uncomfortable, and I just heard like something popped. And it's just like water gushing out, green water gushing out, like gooey green stuff gushing out. And I'm just like, what did you do to me? She's saying, oh my gosh, so ma'am, there's a problem. Baby pooped inside the tummy, which is an issue. We want to get baby out before baby swallows poop, because that's dangerous for baby. So the poop that baby produces is called meconium. So yeah, we're going to get the doctor here now, and you know, we might have to send you to what's this place, to surgery, to theater for C-section. So one thing I had told myself is that I'm going to be open to the experience of labor and be open to whatever it brings. If I have to have a C-section, then it's fine. I don't want to though. I would really love to experience a natural labor. So when she mentioned C-section, I was kind of disappointed, but I was okay. I was like, no, it's fine. Let's do what we can and what we should to get baby here safe and healthy. So about 30 minutes later, Dr. R comes rushing in, and he's like, oh, I see you achieved spontaneous labor. He's just like jolly like that. I'm like, yeah, dude, check me. What's going on? Like, C-section, really? He's like, yeah, let's get you checked. That guy's so rough. I don't know what's wrong with him. But anyways, he's just like, that's how it felt, at least. He's like, yeah, no, you're about 2 centimeters dilated. And then, so the water was still gushing out. Especially when they put their fingers in, it just gushes out more. And then the water turns clear. So he's like, no, I don't think there's a need for a C-section. Looks like all the meconium's out, so baby's good. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, he looks at the heart rate monitor. He's like, yeah, no, looks like baby's good. Everything's fine. I think let's try for natural labor. Okay, but I'm going to get them to prepare you for a drip. So that, yeah, if you request medication, then we can just give it to you via drip. So shortly after he checked me and I got the drip, and I got the drip, I felt like I needed to pee. So baby daddy comes into the room, and I ask him to help me make my way to the toilet, because now I have all this water gushing down and I'm in pain and whatnot. So, you know, he helps me. We walk to the bathroom. The bathroom is right opposite me. And I sit there and I pee. Yeah, and then I'm fine. I get up. By the time I get back to my bed, they've changed out my, they had this waterproof padding thing. They've changed it out and put a new one. I'm like, oh, okay, this is great, super comfortable. So then the nurses come in and tell him that he has to leave because of COVID restrictions. He cannot be there. Bummer. So he leaves for work. At this point in time, it's going for 11 o'clock. It's going for 11 o'clock. It's 10 something. So, you know, I sit there, go on YouTube on my phone, go on WhatsApp. I haven't told anybody at that point in time that I'm at the hospital in labor. You know, I'm just chilling. And then this contraction comes on. And damn, it's a bit intense. I'm like, this is intense. Whoo, this is intense. So it comes and then it subsides for like 30 seconds, guys. And then another one comes. And like, I was just getting like 30-second breaks in between. So I'm like, So my nurse comes in and I'm like, listen, I'm not getting this break in between. Like, what's happening? I'm in a lot of pain, actually. She says, girl, you're 2 centimeters dilated. So if you're complaining about pain now, you still need to get to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and push the baby out. But listen, I can speak to your doctor and hear what he has to say. I'm like, listen, tell Dr. R that I'm in pain and I'm not getting a break in between. So she tells Dr. R, and Dr. R tells them to give me medication to sleep. It was not pain medication. That medication that they give you makes you drowsy. So you sort of like in a zoned out state. So you don't feel pain that much and you're zoned out enough to sleep whilst you are in labor. So she gives me that injection through the drip and I doze off. I woke up. This is all I know. When I woke up, I was in the most intense pain. And it was so tight. And I could not speak. It's like it takes your breath away. That's the type of pain I woke up in. I could not call for help. I couldn't do anything. There was a painting of 3 ladies on the wall. I was just talking to them. I'm like, help me. I asked those ladies to help me. Please help me. It was tough. It was tough. It was tough. And then this male nurse walks in. There was also another lady. So there's 3 of us in the ward. There was a lady on the end. And she's just moaning and moaning and moaning. You know, we all react to pain differently. The amount of pain I was in, I couldn't even make a sound. So I don't get how she could have that energy to moan. Y'all, I just couldn't for the life of me. I had to talk with my inner voice because I couldn't physically speak. So he comes to go check on the lady. And she's moaning and moaning. And he checks her and is like, no, you're fine. Everything's progressing well. And then as he was leaving, he sees me just like bearing down and just like looking up at this painting. And so he looks at, I see him at the corner of my eye. He looks at the baby heartbeat monitor. And then he comes closer and he's like, something's wrong. He runs out, goes and gets a bunch of nurses. He got a bunch of nurses. I'm not even kidding. I think there was like 5 nurses. It's crazy. There was like 5 nurses. They all come, shoo. Nurses I didn't even see were there. My nurse is there. He's there. Like, there's a bunch of nurses. And, sorry, I'm zoning out because I'm thinking about this guy. Listen, here's the thing. I'll tell you about this guy. And his surname is Kumalo. Just know that. Bald, tall guy, light-skinned, very tall guy. And it was very interesting that he's the only male nurse there. But anyways, so these bunch of nurses come and he's there. But he's sort of like on the sidelines type vibes because the nurses are here. So there's this lady. I was very happy to see a grown mama come to my aid because my nurse is young. And she comes and she's like, Nana, what's going on? And she holds, so I hold her arm. She reaches out her arm and I hold her arm. And all I heard was her saying, no, no, no. The amount of strength here, something is wrong. She's literally crushing my bone. Like, y'all, I could not speak. I don't know what was happening. I held on to that lady's arm for dear life. And as I was holding on to her arm and she's complaining, she's saying, no, the amount of strength. Why is she, now she's shouting at the nurses, why is she wearing this nightie? Why is she not in her hospital gown? They're like, no, she came in here and said she doesn't know. She's like, listen, undress her, put her in the hospital gown. I need to check her. So now they're busy fighting against the currents to try and undress me. This lady's begging me. She keeps saying, Nongle, that's shortcuts of my real name. Please try, Nana. Just try, breathe with me, look at me, okay? They need to undress you. Just try to relax your body. Y'all, I was just looking at her like, you need to save me. I couldn't speak. I was just telling her with my inner voice, you need to save me. All I know is that I started, my body, not even me, I was not even conscious of this. My body started pushing because I started making the sound like I was making a big poop. And she immediately said, no, there is something very, very wrong. She then came to me and she said, listen, I know you are in pain, but I need you to think about your baby right now. I need you to push through this pain. Open your legs so I can check you. Because they were trying to pry my legs open, but I was forcefully keeping them together. She said, I need to check you. So as much as you are in pain, Nana, please think of this baby. Y'all, when I tell you I started tearing up, I'm about to tear up even now. When I tell you I started tearing up because in that moment I knew that I had to push through this mountain of pain for this child to be here safe and sound. It was the most painful thing, opening my legs. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh! I can't believe I'm going through this again. Like, I'm reminiscing. It was the most painful thing, opening my legs, because I was in intense pain. And immediately, when she opened my legs, she screamed, "Delivery! No!" You know how they say your labor and delivery is nothing like you see in the movies? For me, it was everything and more. Listen, the drama was insane. She screamed delivery. All I know is they were trying to put on my gown. It wasn't even tied properly. They didn't even get time to tie it properly. All I know was that there were nurses now restricting me, and all I saw was just lights on the ceiling. And in that moment, I cried an ugly cry. You know that ugly cry? I was crying an ugly cry. And I was like, please don't let me die. Please don't let me die. Please don't let me die. They're like, you're not gonna die. You're not gonna die. Listen, this male nurse, the one who came to check on the other lady, he's there running. The panic on his face. Running. You could have sworn that's his kid. Running. Like, they are rushing me to delivery. I guess they call my doctor. Now, here's the funny thing. I almost forgot to mention, when the doctor checked me and he said I'm 2 centimeters and, you know, the water's clear and I don't need to go for C-section, he said, listen, you're 2 centimeters dilated, so you're going to be here for a minimum of 16 hours before there's action like you delivering, usually. So expect to be here for at least 16 hours, not minutes. Did I say minutes? 16 hours. I was like, 16 hours of this? Heck no. So when I was rushed to delivery, They quickly rushed me. I think I was transferred to another bed with the sheets. All the nurses transferred me. Y'all, it was like I was about to be slaughtered. They tied me down. I was being strapped. My legs were strapped on some cushioned pad. I don't know what that is, but they strapped my legs. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die! Like, I'm losing my mind. I'm crying hysterically. Dr. R comes running in, still trying to put on his not theater, but I guess his delivery PPE. And he's like, and then Rena, like, I'm like, don't let me die. He's like, no, you're not gonna. That guy's crazy. He's like, no, you're not gonna die. You're just going to push, but you're not gonna die. I'm like, what's happening? He's like, hey, Rena, you've already done half the work. This baby's head is almost out. Like, so my son had crowned to the point where I think his eyebrows were starting to, something to that extent when they explained it. So it was very dangerous that I was closing my legs because the baby was pushing himself out. He said, okay, listen, I need you to make a big poop. Big poop. Push very, very hard, okay? We're going to get this baby out. I said, it's painful. He said, yes, it's painful, but push through the pain. Right? So then this nurse, this male nurse, he holds my hand like this and he says to me, listen, you can do it. I'm here. We're going to push this baby. Like that, listen, that guy, we're going to push this baby out. He's like, look at me. I'm looking at him. He's like, we're going to do this, okay? He's brushing my head. We're going to do this, okay? Yeah, I'm holding on to it. We're going to do this, okay? Yeah, okay. You need to make a big push. Push with all your might. So, they count. They're like, okay, and push. 1, 2, 3. They're all counting. I'm pushing as hard as I can. Good. 4, 5, 6. I'm pushing. 10 and stop. I'm crying. Ras is like, good. That was a good push. You're doing great. Okay. Now let's do a second push. Good. Second push, we go. He's like, well done. This nurse, well done. Yabo, you're doing great. Let's go. Ready? Let's go. Look at me. So I push. 1, 2, 3. I'm pushing. And his head came out. Good. Well done. Almost. Okay. One final push. We need to get his shoulders out. One big push. Y'all, I thought pushing out the head is going to be the hardest part of delivery. The head of a newborn, the bones move. So it's malleable, it's flexible. It can squish and fit through the hole. Not too much, but just enough for you to not feel that much pain. Those shoulders, yar! That's where I tore. So, third push, I guess that is what they call the ring of fire, because wow, I felt my pain peak like, yeah! I screamed. I said, I can't! I looked at this nurse holding my, I'm giving up! And just as I was about to give up, he pushed the top of my belly. He went, the pain peaked, and then it went down again. And I just felt like something came out, definitely. Doctor, he has the baby. I just saw a little white. I didn't, like, he was white when he was like white. I just saw a glimpse of him. His pediatrician was there. And they were just busy with him. He cried like 3 times. They went, after that, I didn't hear anything. Y'all, like, it was crazy. Dr. R was there. Look, you did great. Well done. Look at you. You did it. Hey, can you believe it? I was just like, what is going on? This guy, now, honestly, I don't know when and how he got to where the baby is, but he was there with the nurses and he was just smiling. Like, everybody was just busy with the baby and nobody's focusing on me anymore. Like, everything was just about the baby. He was whisked out to nursery and everybody left. All of a sudden it was quiet and I passed out. I passed out. When I passed out, I just felt this super calming. I just felt so calm, like this calming presence come over me. And I just closed my eyes and dozed off. And yeah, I dozed off. And then when I came to and I woke up, I don't know if I passed out or dozed off. I don't even remember dreaming. I think I passed out. When I came to, my nurse comes in and she says, what did she say? She said, oh, you're still here. No, you're supposed to be in the toilet, clearing out the clots. So she wanted to scare me. She's like, no, but it's fine. Since you're on the bed, I'm just going to put my hand in and listen. I was like, don't touch me. Listen, natural labor is difficult, guys. I tore when I was pushing up my son's shoulders, the third push. I tore. And, you know, doctor had to stitch me up. But the way I just didn't want anybody down there, I was like, listen, I was swinging because my legs were tied up. I was swinging my butt. He's like, stop that. I need to sew. I'm like, I don't want you to touch me down there. I was like, don't sew it up. Let it heal all by itself. He said, you want a gaping hole? I'm not going to do that. Your husband's going to, he calls my baby daddy husband. He says, your husband's going to kill you. Oh, your husband's going to kill me. I'm not doing that. So I felt that needle. The one that helps to numb everything. Because I didn't have pain medication. I didn't have the epidural. I had nothing. I just gave natural raw birth. And I felt the needle. That was painful. Whew. And then he started stitching me up. But because I was fussing and doing the most, the injection wore out. It wears out pretty fast. And he wasn't done. He had like 4 more stitches to go. And I felt each and every one of those 4 stitches. I was just like, rats. After he was done, I was like, you and you're in my bad books. I don't want to see you. Like, you are the last person I want to see right now. Like, we are not on good terms. And he just laughed because he was like, but I'm helping you. What am I supposed to do? Like, I'm helping you. I'm like, listen, you and I have been the best of friends during my pregnancy. Right now, we're the worst of enemies, bro. Get away from me because I can't. And he was just laughing. He's that guy, like, he laughs. He's a young doctor. He just laughs, and he was laughing. I was like, I was just helping, you know. I was just like, nigga, I don't want to see you. You put me through too much. All that stitching. Like, no. But yeah, he did a great job because I healed absolutely beautifully and fast. So yeah. So the nurse comes in and says I need to go remove the clots, but I shouldn't because she's gonna put her hand. I'm like, girl, if you touch me, I'm going to kick you. Okay, my legs work. I'm gonna kick you. The most painful part of being stitched as well was Dr. R checking if my anus works. Oh my gosh, guys, delivering a human being is just, it's a barbaric act. I won't even lie. I felt in that moment that we are animals essentially, because this is tough. Being sewed up. I mean, imagine feeling that thread move through your vagina, and then him putting his fat ass finger in my anus, telling me to squish my anus so he can see if the anal muscles work, because I tore all the way through to my anus. I was just like, oh my gosh, this guy. He's like, yeah, squeeze your butthole. I need to see if you, well, he said anus. I need to see if it works. Squeeze. Like, this guy got, I was like, you and I are enemies. Like, I don't want to see you. I know, he laughed. And he's like, hey, you gave birth to a beautiful, healthy baby boy. He's perfect. He's perfect. You did great. I'm very proud of you. Even though you hate me right now, I'm very proud of you. I was like, nigga, whatever. Like, I went to the bathroom. I pushed out those clots until I felt nothing coming out. And after I was done, my nurse was like, okay, get in the bed so I can wheel you back to your room. I was like, girl, I am not getting on no bed. I'm traumatized. After what happened, I need to walk. Because I just need to think about what just happened to me. Y'all, I walked all the way with her. We were talking. She's like, oh my gosh, your son is so beautiful. He's so healthy and whatnot. And you know, he's the only baby born in hospital today and stuff. And he's like, everybody's coming to see him because nobody can believe that you gave birth so fast after checking it. Even the receptionist lady who called the porter, she wanted to come up and see the baby. Like, everyone was just like, oh my gosh, we need to see this baby that was born at lightning speed from 2 centimeters to 10 centimeters in less than 5 hours. But yeah, anyways, I hadn't taken pain medication, so when I took a shower, I had just been stitched up. Everything was raw. I was in a lot of pain. I was in immense pain, but I was okay because it wasn't as, like, the worst was over. That's what I kept telling myself. So another lady came. I guess she was one of the 5 nurses that I didn't even recognize. And she brought me a bunch of pills and stuff, like pain medication and everything. Y'all, I got those down and literally I was pain-free. I was just like pain-free. I was like, whew. Thank God. So by the time baby daddy came and, you know, he saw the baby, I was pain-free. I asked him to bring me my favorite takeaway because I never ate takeaways during my pregnancy. Okay, I did not eat any unhealthy food. Funny enough, during my pregnancy, I ate a lot of chili food because I lost the ability to taste chili. But I craved I don't know what I craved in chili food, but food just didn't taste right without chili. So there's this African hot sauce that I bought, and y'all, I was just going through that bottle like crazy with every meal. And I couldn't taste the chili, but my butt, yeah. When it was time to go to the loo, like, I literally burnt my butt crack with all that chili sauce. Like, it was so painful to go to the loo because all that hotness would come out of my ass crack. It would come out of my bum hole. But anyways, yeah, he came, saw the baby. I was pain-free. And then he left. He had to leave. You know, curfew and everything. I gave birth during COVID, like right in the midst of the pandemic. So then he had to leave. Yeah. So then I was alone. Funny enough, baby daddy's mom was the first to call. Because I guess he told her that I'm in labor, and then she called and she was like, Nana, how are you doing? I said, oh, I'm fine. Baby's right here. She was just like, what? You've given birth already? I said, yep. Yeah. You know, the works. They brought him. You know, they brought him. He was nice and clean. Oh, when I was showering, actually, another nurse came in and asked me for the baby clothes and everything, his cosmetics, anything I had bought. So they took that and they, you know, cleaned him up nice and good at the nursery. They did a great job of cleaning him up, y'all. He was beautiful. And then they brought him in his little bassinet. Oh, you know, amazing stuff. So then, listen, when everybody was gone, I was sitting there watching TV. My dinner had been brought. Everything was just quiet. This guy, the male nurse, comes in and he says, I'm just here to check on you and check on baby and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, you really got me through You really got me through. And you weren't even there for me. You were there for the other lady, you know. He was like, of course I was there for you. So I was like, yeah, okay. Like, it was just an awkward conversation. And so he said, it's very important for you to take up classes with your other pregnancies. And I was just like, why are we talking about other pregnancies already? I just gave birth. He's like, you know, take up classes that will help you prepare yourself, you know, whatnot, so you can practice breathing and whatnot, and you know how to handle yourself during labor and delivery, so that it's not such a shock to you, because shock is dangerous for the baby during labor and delivery. I'm like, okay, yeah, you know, he's giving me an entire nurse's speech. Yeah, that's great. I'm like, oh, okay. When he said other pregnancies, I switched off. And then he said something so awkward. And here's another funny thing. He was the only nurse wearing a name badge with his surname, a white name badge, written Khumalo in black. Yeah, he's like, well, I'm just here to say goodbye. You won't see me. You won't be seeing me. I guess we won't see each other because, you know, I'm leaving now, whatnot. I just found it so odd. I was like, oh, okay. But thank you so much. Like, thank you. He's like, take care of my baby. Yeah, okay. Take care of my baby. You know, he's such a big, strong, and healthy boy. And, you know, raise him well. You'll be glad you did. I'm like, yeah. Okay, thank you. Listen, I was just like, okay, great. This is great. He gave me a hug, and then I think he kissed my forehead as well. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. And he walked out, and I didn't see him again. So I was like, huh. Okay, I didn't think anything of it, right? So the following day, I was discharged in the morning because doctor was like, listen, I need to get you out of here, okay, with your unpredictable labor delivering stuff. He was just like, listen, everything's good, you're fine, here's a prescription for pain medication, off you go. There's no need to keep you here in hospital, you know, exposing you to all kinds of things. It's COVID right now. Go home, be safe with baby, heal at home. I'll see you after a week. Come back after a week. After a week, also my baby's pediatrician came, and she said, you know, he's great, he scored high, he's healthy, everything. Just bring him in after a week. We're going to check him again, make sure everything's fine, that you're good to go. So I left. I went home. Went to the pharmacy, got my pain medication, and we went home. A week in, I wanted to go get my son's birth certificate and everything right with Home Affairs, and there was a document that they forgot to give me at the hospital. So remember, I wasn't going to go back to the hospital. I had to go to the pediatrician and go to my OBGYN, Dr. R's offices. So for some reason, the nurses forgot to give me an important document that Home Affairs needed. So I had to go back to maternity and request that document a week in. So I went there, and for some reason, something just, I don't know what made me ask about this nurse. Like, I never forgot him. I never forgot about him. And I said, oh, Nurse Khumalo, like, where is he? Y'all, when I tell you that those nurses just looked at me like, sorry? What are you talking about? I said, the guy nurse, the tall guy, light skin, bald head, Khumalo, name tag. They were just like, yeah, we don't really know who you talking about. We don't know of a male nurse here at maternity. But you know, we don't know. Maybe he's new, but we're not aware that there's a male nurse. I just stood there like, guys, no, that guy who helped me, like with you, don't you remember when I was delivering the baby, and you know that guy, the nurse guy, the one who called you guys when They were like, no, no, you didn't, nobody called us, you didn't send anybody to call us, you rang the bell hysterically, and we came running in because we knew that you're high risk, your doctor had told us. I was like, no, I didn't ring no bell. Like, y'all, I'm not crazy, okay? I remember everything that happened. I did not ring no bell because that bell was too far. I was like, guys, no. They're like, hey. Then one of the nurses was just like, no, just go home and rest. Drink some chamomile tea. Drink some chamomile tea. Y'all, I just left because I was like, okay, here I am looking crazy. What the heck just happened? Who is that male nurse that nobody knows of? Never heard about that nurse again. I asked Dr. R, he was like, hey, I don't, like, I was the only male that I remember there, so I don't know about this male nurse, but, nurses come and go, so I don't keep tabs on it. I don't know. Maybe there was a male nurse and I didn't realize he was male. I was just like, you would have noticed, because he was helping me push. He was like, I don't know, like, I was the only one helping you push with all the other nurses, but, I don't know, maybe he was there and I didn't notice, so... Yeah, guys, listen, that is my labor and delivery story. Essentially, I gave birth. I'm trying to count the hours. Let's say, I can't even pinpoint when I went into labor, but the nurses say within 5 hours, because I guess they're counting from the time where I checked in and, I was examined and I was 2 centimeters. Within 5 hours, they said in less than 5 hours, I went from being 2 centimeters dilated to 10 and fully dilated and pushing, like able to give birth. There's somebody here. So yeah, guys, that is my labor and delivery story. I wanted to share the story because I want my son to be able to look back and really relive the miracle of his birth. Okay, I believe that guy was an angel sent to assist me, and he did a great job, and I'm very thankful. And from then I just knew that my son is okay. He's safe, he's well protected and looked after. I thought to just share the story now and use the opportunity because I don't get to do my makeup often these days. I am so incredibly busy and I'm grateful that I'm busy, but I just figured if I don't share it now, I probably won't get a chance to share it later. If you are pregnant, incorporate red raspberry leaf tea into your everyday of your pregnancy, and don't overdo it with me. This thing is meant to support your pregnancy. Don't overdo it because you will be giving birth in less than 5 hours and